Hello everyone, my name is Mary. I'm your tutor. I'll be taking you through English. In our previous subject, we learned about the parts of speech, and these are the things that we learned. We say that the following are the parts of the speech. We have the nouns, the pronouns, the verbs, the adverbs, the adjectives, the preposition, and the exclamation marks, also known as the interjections. And lastly, we have the conjunction. Sorry for today, I'm not having a board, I'm just having a small problem. Hope you'll understand me. So today we are going to learn about each one of them. We have nouns. What are nouns? A noun is a naming word. A noun is a word that name a person, place, thing, or idea or concept. Yeah, types of nouns. The following are the types of noun. We have common nouns, and I'm going to give example of each. Example, what is a common noun? It refers to a general or non-specific people, place, or things. For example, city, book, dog, and teacher. Those are examples of common nouns, sorry. And then number 2, we have proper nouns. What are proper nouns? Proper nouns refers to specific name of people, place, or things. They are always capitalized. Saying that they are capitalized, it means that the name begin with a capital letter. For example, John. When we say proper noun, it means the specific name by mentioning its name. We have John, Nairobi. Yeah. We also have concrete noun. Concrete nouns refers to the things that can be perceived through the five senses. The five senses are touch, taste, sight, hearing, and smell. Those are the concrete nouns. We have the abstract nouns. Abstract nouns refers to idea, quality, emotion, or concept that cannot be physically perceived. Example, love, freedom, courage, and honesty. Countable nouns. Countable nouns refers to things that can be counted and have singular and plural form. Example, cat. Plural form of cat is cats. Bottle. Plural form of bottle is bottles. Let's move to uncountable nouns. Uncountable nouns refers to things that cannot be counted. These are things that you cannot count by numbers. For example, water. We are unable to count water. Rice. We are also unable to count rice. Let's move to collective nouns. Collective nouns refers to a group of individual or things considered as a single entity, e.g., term, family. Those are collective nouns. Example of collective nouns, you can say a school of fish. That is an example of collective noun, group of things. Yeah. Let's move to compound nouns. Compound nouns are made up of two or more words. For example, toothbrush. We bring the word tooth plus brush to make the word toothbrush. Example 2, we have mother-in-law. We have the word mother and in-law. We put them together to form a compound noun. Let's move to number 9. We have singular nouns, refers to one person, place, things, or idea. For example, we have dog, car, child. Those are examples of singular nouns. Let's move to plural nouns. Plural nouns refers to more than one person, place, thing, or ideas. For example, in the previous example we have dog. That was a singular noun. It means one. And in plural nouns we have dogs. They can be two or more than two. And maybe car. In the previous example we had car. A car is one. And when we say cars, it can be two cars or more than two cars. Child is one in singular nouns. And when it comes to plural nouns, we have children. Children can be either two or more than two. We are going to move to the pronouns. What are pronouns? A pronoun is a word used in place of nouns to avoid repetition. It refers to people, objects, ideas without naming them directly. For example, in the sentence, Jane is sitting. Jane is a proper noun. Now, when it comes to pronoun, we'll replace Jane with she because she is a girl. So she there is the proper noun. Now, the following are the types of proper nouns. Here I'm going to only look at those that are main and important. Let's see. The first one, we have the personal pronouns. Personal pronouns refers to the specific people or things and change form based on number, person, and case. Or there we have subject, objective, possessive. E.g., examples of personal pronouns. Example of subjective, we have I, you, he, she, it, we, they. Example of objective in personal pronouns, we have me, you, him, her, it, and them. Let's move to possessive. In possessive, we have my, yours. Possessive means that you own it. For example, yours. The bag is yours. It means it belongs to, belonging to. That is the meaning of possessive. In possessive, we have my, yours, his, hers, its, our, and their. So in the next example, we are going to move to the reflective pronoun. It refers back to the subject of the sentence and end in self or selves. Example, we have myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself, ourselves, yourselves, and then finally themselves. So I said that we are going to look at only the important one. Let's move to interrogative pronouns. To interrogate means to interact. You interact by asking the questions. There we have use to ask question. To interrogate means to ask question, as I said. Example I put there, we have the 5 W's. That is who, whom, whose, what, and which. Then we are going to move to the possessive pronouns. It indicates ownership or possession. Examples, we have mine, yours, his, hers, ours, and theirs. Then second lastly, we are going to look at the subject pronouns. The subject pronouns act as the subject of a sentence. For example, I, you, he, she, we, they. Lastly, in the pronouns, I'm going to look at the object pronouns. It acts as the subject of the verb or preposition. For example, we have me, you, him, her, it, us, and finally them. Not lastly, but let's look at the verbs. What are verbs? In short, I always say that verbs are doing words or words that shows actions. It is a word that express action. It is also a doing word. Anything that shows action falls under verb. Okay, we are going to look at the types of verb. We have action verb, show physical or mental action performed by the subject, e.g. run, write, jump, think, believe. Before I proceed, I always say that in verb we add ing. Anything that can be added ing is verb. For example, run, running, write, writing, jump, jumping, think, thinking. Believe, believing. Okay, let's move to another type of verb. We have auxiliary verbs, or also known as the helping verbs. It helps the main verb by showing tense, mood, or voice. For example, be, do, have, can, may, will, and shall. Helps the auxiliary verbs help the main verb. Let's look at this sentence. We have she is reading a book. So if we look here, reading is the main verb. That is the main verb. It's the action verb. So if we say she is reading a book, is an auxiliary verb, also known as a helping verb. It helps her, like it helps in this sentence, it helps in reading. It helps reading, which is the main verb. Let's move to the modal verbs. Expressability, expressability or possibility, e.g. might, must, shall, should, will, and would. Example, in this sentence, you should finish your homework. Okay, it it express ability. Let's say you should finish your homework. There the modal verb is should. Yeah, let's move to the regular verb. Regular verb form part of tense and past participle by adding ed or d in the verb. Let's look at the irregular verbs. Form the past tense and the past participle. E.g., go, the past tense of go is went. Eat, past tense of eat is ate. Like here, we looked at the regular verbs and we found out that in the regular verb, you only add ed or d. And in irregular verb, you can't add ed or d. You can't say it goed or it. So that's why we call them the irregular verb. Go, we found out that the past tense of go is went and it is ate. Thank you. Let's look at the adverb. What is an adverb? It is a word that modifies the verb, adjective, and another adverb. Let's look at the types of adverbs. We have adverbs of manner. Adverbs of manner describe how action is performed. For example, quickly, slowly, carefully. It shows how an action is being performed. Let's look at example in this sentence. She is singing beautifully. Here we see that beautifully, how the action is being performed. Beautifully, she sings beautifully. There beautifully is an example of adverb of manner. You can say she is singing loudly. She is singing carefully. She is singing quickly. Yeah, let's move at adverbs of time. Adverbs of time indicates when an action happens or the time the action is being, the time the action is taking place. For example, now, yesterday. For example, in this sentence we have we will meet tomorrow. Tomorrow indicates the time the action will take place. Or for another sentence we have she arrived late. Late indicates the time the action took place. Okay, let's move to another adverb. We have adverb with place. Adverb with place indicates where an action happens. For example, here, there, everywhere, outside, and nearby. Let's look at this example in the sentence. He looked outside. Outside means the place there he, the boy, mentioned looked. It was where? Outside. You can say they moved everywhere. They moved everywhere. The place they moved was everywhere. Let's look at here adverb of frequency. It indicates how often an action happens. For example, always, often, sometimes, rare, never. In this sentence we have she always arrives early. There always indicates how often the action happens. Let's look at adverbs of degree. Adverbs of degree indicate the intensity of the degree of an action, adjective, and another adverb. Here we have very, true, quite, almost, hardly, e.g. For example, we have it's very cold today. Very, it indicates the degree of, like in this, the degree in the sentence. It is very. For example, another example you can say the tea is too hot. Too hot indicates the degree. Let's move at the adjective. Adjective, it is a word that describes or modifies nouns, pronouns. Modified nouns or pronouns. Example, we have descriptive adjective. Descriptive from the word describe. It describes the qualities, characteristics or state of nouns. For example, beautiful, large, red, happy. Let's move to the next one. We have quantitative adjective. Quantitative adjective indicates the quantity or the amount of a noun. For example, some, many, few, several, 10. Example in a sentence, we can say, we only have 10 people in this congregation. We only have 10 people in this congregation. 10 people indicates the quantity, the amount of people in the congregation. Let's move to the possessive adjective. Indicates ownership. Possessive means to own something. For example, mine, yours, his, hers, our, and their. Let's move to interrogative adjective. To interrogate means to ask. As I had tell you in the previous, to interrogate means to ask. Used to ask question or to modify nouns. For example, which, what. Yeah. Let's move to comparative adjective. Comparative adjective